Okay, so we move on to Game 3 of the tournament. As I said in a previous battle report, I have very little experience against Dark Elves, and this is probably the best player I've gone against who plays Dark Elves. And so, really excited for the game, a little bit nervous, really curious to see what this Dark Elf army has in store. So, on the far right, there's a unit of Dark Riders. Then in the woods, he's got a level 2 Scroll Caddy, 10 Repeater Crossbowmen, 10 Witch Elves, got the Cauldron of Blood back there, big block of Black Knights, and they have the Banner of Hag Gref, so they get always strike first, and he has a Dark Elf Lord in with them. Just on the other side of that building, next to the Blackguard, he has a Hydra, then he has 2 Coldwind Chariots, then he has Bolt Thrower, Fast Cav, Bolt Thrower, and there's some more Fast Cav off to the left. And at the very top left of the screen, there's a model. That is a Dark Elf Assassin that he's just telling me is somewhere in his army. So I put some Pegasus Knights on my far right flank to deal with his Fast Cav. I have 22 Men-at-Arms, 5 Grail Knights with the Damsel, 8 Knights Errant with the BSB, General Lord on a Royal Pegasus, 8 Knights of the Realm with the Damsel, 5 Fast Cav, my Trebuchet, 18 Archers, Pegasus Knights, and Knights Errant. So my thinking was I need to make sure I get the his Fast Cav off of my flanks. I don't need him harassing me the way I know that they can. And other than that, my goal is to not mess with the Blackguard too much unless I can really whittle them down, because in the game earlier in the day, when I got into battle with them, it was hard to get out of combat with them until they were all dead. I believe they're a stubborn 9. So that's my plan. So Dark Elf turn 1. He leaves his Fast Cav alone. I think he's worried about my Pegasus Knights, so he's just shooting at me with his crossbowmen and those Fast Cav shooting at my Pegasus Knights. Moves the Witch Elves up, moves the Blackguard up. Kind of surprised he hung back with his Hydra and with his 2 Chariots. I don't know what he was thinking there. I'd be kind of curious what his strategy was. But anyway, held back with them. And on this side of the board, the Fast Cav unit you see on the left, he barely marched up, and the other one he marched up very aggressively. Yeah, there they are. So on my turn 1, I don't want to play around too much over here, because the more I hang back, he's just going to be shooting at me. So I fly my Pegasus Knights all the way to the right so that I can kind of get out of the shooting range of his crossbowmen, or at least give them some penalties if they want to shoot at me. And I'm going to let his Fast Cav charge me. I think I can hold. I think odds are he should only get 1 wound on me. And I think I can do well against him. So in the middle, I'm push the Men-at-Arms up, and my blocks of Knights are really just kind of hanging back. Charge. I take my Pegasus Knights that were kind of on the inside, just to the left of that hill. I charge his Fast Cav, and then I take my Knights Errant that were on the outside and bring them forward to help in the middle. Had I charged with my Knights Errant, his Fast Cav would have fled. Had he fled from my Pegasus Knights, he would have fled off the board. So I can't honestly say that I was thinking that when I declared those charges, but it ended up for the best, the way it worked out. So here we go, Brett turn 1. If you remember my Lizardman game, how I dropped a stone on the top of that Stegodon and took him out. First turn of this game, I dropped a stone right in the middle of that Blackguard unit. And he started with 21 models in there, 20 Blackguard and his Lord, and killed, I believe, 12 of them. He is down to 9 guys in that. So all of a sudden, this unit that I was so fearful of is a lot less threatening. So that was a huge relief. This combat didn't go as planned. I figured getting the charge on these guys, I should have wiped him out, but I didn't. I won combat. He held. On his turn 2, he brings his second unit of Fast Cav and charges into the Pegasus Knight. So I'm actually fighting 2 units right there. The other side of the board, he takes his Hydra and scoots him to the other side of that building, because I was shooting at him with my archers, because they have flaming arrows, and so he doesn't get the regenerate rule. I didn't do any wounds, but I think he's worried about my Trebuchet and about those archers. Pushes his Blackguard forward and still is hanging back with his chariots. So I was actually liking what I was seeing right there. I thought things were looking pretty promising. The other side of the board moves his Witch Elves up. And during his, I don't think I had a photo in there. On the far right side, he charged his fast cav into my Pegasus Knights on the far right side. So here in the middle of the board, he shoots at my general with his bolt throwers and kills the Pegasus, which limits my mobility, but it actually makes my armor save 1 better. So I have a 2-up rerollable instead of a 3-up rerollable now. So I'm not too awful concerned about that. I'm really just waiting for the Hydra. That's my general's big target this game. And then it wasn't magic. It must have been his other bolt thrower shot at my Grail Knights and killed a couple. So that was kind of a bummer, but I still think I'm doing okay there. And on my far right, his fast cav charged into my Pegasus Knights, and I don't remember how the wounds worked out, but he did more than 1 wound. He beat me in combat and then chased him down. So very disappointed in that development, and I didn't think it would really affect the game all that much, but it was certainly disappointing. I thought I had the odds on that one. So at the end of his turn over on this side, I'm still locked in combat with 2 units of Dark Riders. You can kind of tell there's 2 and then there's 1. I know there's 3 total. That's actually 2 different units there. So that battle rages on the left. So those fast cav are hanging out a lot longer than I would have expected them to with my Pegasus Knights. So here we go. Brett turn 2. He's got his unit down to 8 or 9 people in that Blackguard unit. There's 1 Lord and the rest are Blackguard. So I decided to take my, well, what you see there, the Grail Knights and that big block of Knights Errant. And I think, I know his Lord's going to be kind of nasty, and he probably has an assassin in there, but that's a lot of attacks. And these Black Knights are tough in a lot of ways, but they're fairly easy to kill. And even with his always strike first, I mean, there's only a few guys up in the front row. So pretty confident with that one. I actually took that big block of Knights of the Realm on the left and marched him up, and then tried to cast a spell because I had the Wolf Hunts, and so they would have got a charge into their flank. And it's funny because I never cast magic. I have very little magic in this game, but I rolled 2 dice and rolled 2 5s and found he had the Ring of Hotep in that unit. And so I got a miscast. Kind of funny. Anyway. So my archers shoot at 1 of his bolt throwers and kill both of the crew, and he just removed the whole thing from the table. And we are still locked in combat over here. You can see I destroyed... No, we're not locked in combat. I destroyed 1 unit completely, and the other unit I broke, and he fled, and I'm 2 inches behind him. That's what's going on there.